your room!
I know he is my room!
How does that work? Where does that expression come from? It doesn't make any sense.
Make it stop!
Oh, it doesn't make sense.
You know, it's been a hot minute since these live-action remakes pissed me off this much. I think the last one that really did it was, what, Peter Pan and Wendy? Ever since then, I've just gotten bored by these movies, reviewing them merely as an obligation that I'm honestly getting tired of at this point. Because really, what is there to even say about these movies that you don't already know? We all know The Little Mermaid was bad, we all know Snow White was bad, we all know Mufasa is bad, and we all knew Lilo and Stitch would be bad too. But Lilo and Stitch is that rare specimen that surprised me. Yes, it surprised me. Because while I was expecting another mid piece of corporate slop, instead, I got a movie that felt like propaganda for the US government. I never would have imagined Lilo and Stitch, of all franchises, telling me that the government separating a native family is a good thing. Especially since the original movie made it clear that that was a bad thing. And I think that's what shocked a lot of people when this movie came out, alongside a lot of other poor choices made by both the director of the film and Disney themselves. At this point, I'm fully convinced that in this modern day, if you're a director of a Disney film, no you ain't! You're completely under the whim of the executives who insist that you make the movie their way and be sure to tone down anything that could be seen as offensive. I mean, why else was Pleakley not allowed to wear drag in the movie? That's woke! And apparently being woke is bad now, even though nobody was offended by Pleakley wearing drag over 20 years ago in the original, or Jumba, or Gantu, or any of that stuff really. Or how about Disney actually being woke for decades, and only in recent years have they only gotten bad at being woke? Like, maybe that's the real issue, but I'll talk more about that later. This movie has just sat in the back of my mind, getting worse and worse the more that I thought about it. And the more I thought about it, the more things started to add up that just really made me angry. So, for this video, I wanted to focus primarily on this one singular thing, since apparently for some people, this element of both the original movie and the remake went completely over their heads, and why it's so bad that the remake fucked it up so badly. Compared to the things that everyone's already in agreement on being bad, like Jumba being the villain now. Like, yeah, we already know that was a stupid decision.
That's a penis!
So, let's start with the original film, and how it subtly deconstructed American imperialism. Lilo and Stitch is amazing. I know, what a baller opinion to have right there. We all love the story, the characters, the animation, and the music, but one thing people love a lot about this film are the little details that we picked up on over the years. Like, for example, why does Lilo give a peanut butter sandwich to Pudge in the morning? At first, it just seems like one of her little quirks. But then as the movie progresses and you realize that this is her way of coping with her parents' death. They died in a car accident during rainy weather, and she believes that Pudge controls the weather. For a 6-year-old girl, that just makes perfect sense. She's not hurting anybody, yet, and it makes her feel better. Not to mention, she's very passionate about that sandwich. Something that isn't there in the original. And before you comment that Pudge was in the live-action remake, no he wasn't! Lilo drops a random sandwich that isn't peanut butter, because why would you be expected to get that little detail right? Anyway, a bunch of random fish just start eating at it, so no, she did not feed Pudge a peanut butter sandwich. And she never brings this up again for the rest of the film, nor is the connection between Pudge the fish and her parents ever established, so it's just a meaningless scene that only exists because the original movie did it. Anyway, oh, how about that mosquito joke? Yeah, they bring up the mosquito joke from the original, but they left out the payoff to that joke. And I'm not talking about the scene where Pleakley gets overwhelmed by a whole swarm of them. No, I'm talking about how Cobra Bubbles managed to pull the biggest 4D chess move that I think any Disney character has ever pulled. At first glance, it seems like a harmless joke that these aliens think that an insect is endangered. It's not that deep. I mean, why wouldn't Cobra just pick an actual endangered animal, like a condor or a manatee or something? But then you stop to think about it. Mosquitoes live on almost every inch of land on the planet, which means they feed off of everything on that land, including humans. So, effectively speaking, by choosing mosquitoes to be the endangered species of the planet, this made it to where the aliens can't intervene at all with both its home and its food source. Ergo, Earth. When Cobra Bubbles said that he saved the planet, he wasn't kidding. He actually did that because he's a king. The writers for the original Lilo and Stitch must have been writing on all 4 dimensions, thinking long and hard about the long game and what people would notice in the future. And it's hard to think of, well, any other Disney movie that's even come close to this level of depth. I mean, maybe Encanto, but it's still not even close. And that ties back into this film's depiction and subtle deconstruction of American imperialism. But what do I even mean by that? Well, first, I gotta give you a little history. I know some people don't like hearing the history of America doing bad things, but the government literally admitted to these things, so yeah, deal with it. So, for those that don't know, Hawaii was forcefully taken by the United States and was illegally annexed into it back in 1893. And yes, this was illegal. Grover Cleveland, the president of the time himself, wasn't even aware of the coup that happened there. And even though he condemned it, nothing was done to reverse it. And if you need any more proof for some reason that it was illegal, in 1993, Congress passed what was called the Apology Resolution, which was a statement officially admitting that the annexation of the Kingdom of Hawaii was illegal.
At the White House yesterday, President Clinton signed a formal letter of apology to the people of Hawaii. He was apologizing on behalf of the U.S. government for the government's involvement 100 years ago in removing the independent Hawaiian monarchy by force.
Many Hawaiians predict they will achieve some form of sovereignty by the end of the century. They have drawn a line in the sand, and they insist there's no turning back.
Now, what did that accomplish? Well, nothing. It was just an admission to what everyone already knew for a long time. But at least they said they're sorry. Since then, America has turned Hawaii into this huge tourist trap, and with it, gone on to romanticize Hawaiian culture. It's a pretty similar thing that they did with Native Americans as well, and how they romanticize old stories of Native Americans falling in love with Europeans. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. That romanticized version of Hawaii is present in the original movie. Now, while the movie doesn't directly call it out the same way something like Atlantis the Lost Empire did, instead it merely depicts it in a natural, realistic way, like how the natives who have lived there their whole lives have to deal with seeing tourists every day and be treated as a commodity for them. For example, there's that scene at Nani's first job as the waitress where she's forced to wear revealing clothing because that appeals to tourists in a weird, freaky fashion. Then, when she's fired from the job, she mentions that it's a fakey luau, which, yeah, it is. It exists solely to profit off of tourism, who then proceed to make a mockery out of their culture in the process. Again, things like that are subtle. The movie isn't about deconstructing American tourism, it just shows it in the background and leaves us, the audience, to pick up on it, which a lot of people did. Do you remember the famous deleted scene that was very direct in that message, showing the tourists just being straight up racist to Lilo?
Hey, speak English? Which way to the beach?
Dude, you're still in the United States. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh, look! A real native!
You know, it's shit like that. That's why Lilo takes pictures of those tourists. It's her own unique way of getting back at them for treating her as an attraction. Huh. I wonder why that was cut from the remake. And it wasn't just from this movie. The sequels and the TV show also contributed to this, again, in mostly subtle ways. Take Myrtle Edmonds, for example. Now, before you start commenting, I'm not going to insist that this 6-year-old kid is racist. If anything, she's more a product of her own surroundings, similar to what Lilo is. The difference being that, well, that she's white. She's a white girl being included in native traditions like learning luau, so it's not inherently as important to her as it is to Lilo. Now sure, there's nothing wrong with a white person wanting to learn about Hawaiian traditions and take part in that stuff. That could be taken as cultural appreciation, which should be celebrated for any culture around the world in my opinion. Then again, I'm white myself, so if anyone disagrees with that notion, please let me know in the comments. I genuinely would like to know why I'm in the wrong here if I am. Now, with that being said, it's one thing for Myrtle to take part in this school and learn a Hawaiian custom. It's another when she goes on to use said custom as a means to market her father's failing business. That's where you cross the line from appreciation to appropriation. Even my white ass knows that's not okay. I know it's played off as a joke in the scene, but I mean, am I wrong? Is that not what's happening here? Did Disney also notice this, and is this the reason why Myrtle is barely in the remake at all? Just an observation. And of course, there is the giant pillar of evidence that is Cobra Bubbles. Cobra Bubbles is an agent of the government here to ensure that Lilo is in a safe home, but if she's not, then he'll take her away and put her into foster care. Which, yeah, this country has a very colorful history of doing that to native families. No pun intended. Look, we all love Cobra Bubbles. All my homies love Cobra Bubbles. But it's pretty clear to us that Cobra isn't exactly a hero in this movie. He's a nice guy who's simply doing his job, but it's not a good thing he's doing, and the movie makes that fact very clear. Following the beach scene where Cobra tells her that he's taking Lilo away, we then get the legendary Aloha Oi scene, which is of Nani and Lilo saying goodbye to each other. It's tender, sweet, and just heartbreaking. But more importantly to my point, it's a reflection of Hawaiian culture and its history. The song Aloha Oi wasn't written for the movie. In fact, it was written way back in 1878 by Lili Ukalani herself, the final queen of the Kingdom of Hawaii. And following the Kingdom of Hawaii's fall, the song has since become a staple among Native Hawaiians as it's a reflection of their history. This is the moment where Nani believes she's losing the last of her family. She has no idea what's gonna happen next, for Lilo or for her. And it's a sentiment that I'm sure many Native Hawaiians have had to face in the past. This scene is beautiful for many reasons, and I think the sentiment that they're connecting not just with each other, but their culture is so powerful in ways that the writers might not have even intended. Yet people still recognized it. So much so that it still boggles my mind that there's people who didn't see it and still don't. There's people out there who insist that the messaging was never there, and if you do see it, oh, then you're just some try-hard contrarian trying to sound way smarter than you actually are. I mean, history doesn't lie. Hell, the US government didn't even lie. At least not this time. Anymore. You get my point. There's no way all of these intersecting pieces are just coincidences. The fake tourist traps, Myrtle's luau, Cobra Bubble's job, they all connect, not just to the central struggle of Nani and Lilo staying together, but to the history of Hawaii and its people. Like I said earlier, it really feels like the writers were locked in on making Lilo and Stitch possibly the deepest Disney film ever. Sure, it's not straight up calling out the shit the way Atlantis: The Lost Empire did, but at the same time, it wasn't about that. The story really is about the bond between Lilo and Stitch at the end of the day, but the fact that it found a way to sneak in this pretty powerful commentary in the background is pretty cool. And I just can't shake the feeling that all of that subtle commentary was removed from the remake for a reason. Like, it doesn't feel like an oversight, it genuinely felt intentional. So, let's talk about how this remake is just straight up US propaganda now. You know what's become ironic over the years? Stitch. Stitch is ironic now. He's a genetic experiment created to destroy everything around him, yet by forming a bond with this little Hawaiian native, learning about the meaning of ohana and all that, he changes and becomes a better person by the end of the film. He learns to cherish those around him and finds a new ohana with Lilo, Nani, Jumba, Pleakley, and I guess Cobra Bubbles to an extent. His whole story helped bring awareness to how tourism and American capitalism can have a negative impact on the locals of Hawaii. So, of course Disney saw that story and decided to make Stitch a mascot, capitalizing the fuck out of him and putting his face on all their merch for decades now. Oh, look at Stitch. Isn't he adorable? Isn't Lilo adorable? Doesn't that make you want to come to Hawaii? Well, you can. Come to our resort in Kapoli, Hawaii. Only $636 a night. Doesn't that sound delightful? Yeah, it kind of goes on to miss the point of the movie, doesn't it? I know Disney does this with all their brands, but it's pretty hypocritical when they use Stitch, which they do a lot. But I guess to be fair, can you blame them? Everybody loves Stitch. Who doesn't? It's literally the only reason this remake was even made in the first place. It was originally supposed to go straight to Disney+, but because both Lightyear and Wish bombed so hard, they changed the remake to be a theatrical release the same exact way they turned Moana 2 into a movie when it was supposed to be a TV series. And I guess as business decisions go, that was the right call. It made over $1 billion just in the box office alone, not counting all the new merch they get to make with their brand new Stitch model. He's in 3D now, so he's even cuter somehow. Sure, okay, he's worse looking now, but okay. But we get it. We all know why Gantu isn't in this movie. It was the budget. They didn't have the money to CGI Samoan, so they just cut him out of the story. It's also the reason why Jumbo and Pleakley just have boring cloaking devices instead of being a fun movie and wearing funny disguises. But I already made it clear what I want to talk about in this video. Here's the thing, I wasn't surprised they toned down the anti-imperialist commentary in the original. If anything, I was expecting them to. These remakes have a tendency to remove any form of bite that the original film may have had. Remember when Pinocchio took away the smoking and alcohol, even though the point of him doing those things was to show they were bad? But I never would have dreamed that Lilo and Stitch would go from saying, yeah, maybe tourism in Hawaii is having a bad influence on the natives, to saying, you know what, it's a good thing for natives to give away their kids and find a fancy new life in the States. What the fuck? And before y'all get started, I've heard all the defenses of this decision. And yeah, there are people defending Nani's decision to give up Lilo also that she can go to college. Apparently, people bringing all this up are missing the point of the choice. No, we understood the choice, it's just really bad based on both the historical context of Native Hawaiians and the story of the film. It's no secret that the United States has a pretty checkered past when it comes to people of indigenous backgrounds. Shit, it's something this country still struggles with to this day. When I first saw the movie in theaters, I wasn't all that bothered by Tia Kuri'i playing the social worker this time. Sure, it's weird that Cobra Bubbles is still in the movie, just in a different role, but whatever. It's not a big deal, I guess. Or so I thought. Again, the more I thought about it, the more this specific casting choice made me feel uncomfortable. And let me be clear from the start, it's not Tia Kuri'i herself that's the problem. She's just an actress doing her job. No, it's more what her casting specifically represents. See, in the original film, Cobra Bubbles was intimidating. You got a pretty intense vibe just from his introduction. His deep voice, his no-nonsense attitude, you could just tell he was there for a bad reason. He is a nice guy, but the movie makes it clear he's not here to do a nice thing. It's very clear to the audience that Nani losing Lilo is a bad thing. As opposed to Mrs. Kikoa, who is, as described by Wikipedia, a social worker who is a practical, by-the-book, kind and patient woman who checks in regularly with Nani. That's a rather interesting way to depict someone who's here to separate a family. Now sure, both her and Cobra are good people, but you don't get the same vibe from Mrs. Kikoa that you did with Cobra, did you? She's kind and friendly from the very start, and because of that, you don't feel the weight of the situation. There's no sense of urgency, despite the fact that she straight up says Nani has a week to get things straight or else she loses Lilo. Oh, and playing happy music over this scene that was serious and intense in the original only goes to make that feeling worse.
What's better than listening to you?
Even though the whole point of Nani's journey is supposed to be about fighting to keep Lilo, the movie doesn't really take that struggle all that seriously. If anything, it seems to keep hammering in the point that Nani should just go to college because that's what she wants to do. And the movie brings her to this conclusion by having Lilo be taken away by the state be seen as a good thing? Huh? After the Hawaiian roller coaster ride scene where Lilo nearly drowns, she's taken to the hospital where it's revealed that Nani forgot to apply for Lilo's health care. So here comes the kind and patient Mrs. Kikoa with a plan that says that the state will cover all of the expenses if Nani gives up custody of Lilo. And this is seen as a good thing. Are you fucking serious? First off, this country won't even pay for Lilo to get a free lunch at school. What the fuck makes you think it would pay for her health care? Fun fact, it won't. If anything, Child Protective Services would, quote unquote, involve connecting the families to other support services, including healthcare options like Medicaid or CHIP. So no, the state wouldn't pay for that. If anything, not only would Nani lose Lilo, but Nani would still have to pay for that healthcare. When I say Luigi did nothing wrong, I fucking mean it. What a fucking joke. And to have Tia Kuri'i, a familiar, friendly face, deliver this flat-out lie to a native Hawaiian who's losing her family is fucking disgusting. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? I honestly find it hilarious that this movie is trying to prop up the US government trying to intervene in this native family's business as a good thing by using the healthcare system as a crutch. The movie knows that the US healthcare system is a joke and is yet still saying the government is in the right here to do this. What in the name of fascism is that? And for what? Just so Nani can go to college? Why doesn't she just go to college here in Hawaii so she can still stay with Lilo? Doesn't that sound like a no-brainer? Well, she got a scholarship for California. Why wouldn't she accept that? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because Native Hawaiians get practically free education in Hawaii? It's not entirely free, but they get way more benefits for a much lower price if she were to go to a local college in Hawaii. And it's for what again? Marine biology? In Hawaii. Yeah, I think she'll find a class there. Oh, but no, that's not the pristine #1 American school for it. That's in San Diego, apparently. The good old state. Who cares? School is school. Is it really worth giving your sister up to the state when a borderline free class is probably right down the road? And I know what you're gonna say. Well, it's not a big deal, Razor. The neighbor stepped in to take care of Lilo, and Nani gets to visit whenever she wants with that portal gun she got. Wow. Isn't that just so lucky? Isn't that just so nice that after everything Nani sacrificed to ensure that her Ohana wouldn't be separated, it turns out this mattress that she could just fall back on when things get hard was there the entire time. What a great luxury that she has that I'm pretty sure most natives don't have. No, this is stupid. To those who say I missed the point of Nani's choice, no, I get it. I just think it's horribly written, all for the sake of propping up the US government that works to both bastardize Nani's character while also bastardizing the anti-imperialist commentary the original film had. From a storytelling perspective, this sucks because it makes all of Nani's sacrifices and work entirely pointless. And yes, it was pointless. Nani's build-up to wanting to go to college is brought up in 3 scenes? Oh wow, what a compelling character arc that ends with her leaving her sister anyway. How is that powerful? How is this satisfying? All Nani wanted for the entire film was to keep Lilo, and the only time she decides to make that choice is in this scene in the ending where Amy Hill gives this bullshit speech about how great Hawaiian culture is. Oh, look at the Hawaiian state flag, battered but still proudly waving. Wow! Give yourselves a round of applause, you fucking hacks! From a storytelling perspective, it ruins Nani's character. But from a Hawaiian historical and cultural perspective, this is just plain offensive. And the fact that this movie is actively trying to gaslight people into thinking this is a good thing is wild. This movie is to Hawaiian culture what June from Dragons the Nine Realm was to Chinese culture. Fuck you. And that's just the biggest piece of this stupid ass cake. Oh, but there's other slices. Can we talk about how adorable it is that Lilo keeps believing that Nani wants to go join the Marines? Lilo would be so proud to see Nani join the Marines. Aren't the Marines so cool? Maybe you should join the Marines. Go fuck yourselves, Disney! Hey, remember that great running gag with that tourist who was sunburned and could never get a taste of that ice cream? Well, now he's a native Hawaiian. Huh, I wonder why they made that change. Maybe it's the same reason why Lilo doesn't take pictures of tourists anymore? Or when Nani gets fired from her job as a waitress, she doesn't call it a fake luau this time? It's almost meticulous how much they're trying to cover up the commentary from the original film. They can't have anything in this remake that might possibly offend the tourists that go to their resort. Even though I'm pretty sure no one fucking cared! They love the movie anyway! It made people become interested in Hawaiian culture. I mean, the entire world knows what the word Ohana means now because of it. And I believe that when a movie pays respect to a culture, that it can make great strides in bringing people from everywhere together when it comes to respecting it. Neja 2 and Sun Wukong did great wonders in getting people into Chinese mythology. Encanto got people really into Latin America. Even Moana is heavily compared to Lilo and Stitch due to both of them paying respect to that region and its culture. But the Lilo and Stitch remake doesn't feel like it's paying respect to Hawaiian culture. Instead, it feels like it's taking advantage of it. And it's not surprising that people weren't surprised by this. I mean, they literally forced the actress who played Nani to wear thick layers of makeup to make her skin look darker. I think there's a word for that, and it usually means racism. Which, yeah, I guess that leads me to talk about that. The whole double standard people accused me of in the first video.
Ah, boy, here we go.
That's right, we're talking about the whole race swapping thing. Look, I think there's a genuine conversation that can be had about it, but I honestly doubt these anti-woke critics are interested in actually having it. I think the problem is less, oh, there's too many black people or gay people in Disney nowadays, and more about how Disney executives see their race and identity as a prop to market the film and get people to talk about it. It's like back in the good old days of Hollywood, where people of color were often exploited to save money and make a movie look more, quote-unquote, exotic. And while it's not as bad as it was back then, I also don't see these grifters exactly trying to offer a better solution for these people and their much deserved representation. It just boils down to, ew, they made Ariel black. That's woke and that's bad. But why is it bad, huh? Is it bad because she's black, or is it bad because Disney is simply using her because of her race? Sorry, but these people aren't making that distinction clear to me. Same with Rachel Zegler being Latino, or Yara Shahidi being black. Or how about that gay kiss in Lightyear? Is it bad because it's gay, or is it bad because it's forced? I'm asking these questions because I didn't see the same energy when a half-white woman was cast to play Nani, and then forced to wear makeup to where her skin looked more ethnic looking. So let me ask you again. If race swapping is bad no matter what, then where were these people when it happened here? It just seems to me these people only get angry when it happens to a white character. But when it happens to a colored character...
Huh, I see how it is.
Forced representation is a problem that needs to be addressed, but it's not a problem to those who say it is. The more woke Disney gets, the more they can profit off of it. And when the movie fails, Disney can just blame the representation and learn nothing from the experience. So personally, I don't see myself having a double standard because I actually recognize the real problem. I don't blame these actresses for the business practices that Disney does for profit, nor do I blindly listen to the grifters who also attack them also for profit. I acknowledge when a person's race doesn't really matter to the story, regardless of his origin, because it's Disney, and Disney has always changed the story. And calling Haley Bailey the N-word isn't gonna make anyone side with you, dude. Fuck off. And look, you can disagree with what Rachel Zegler said in that interview. Hell, I disagree with what she said in that interview. But all it was a hot take, and y'all act like she said the N-word or something. Oh, she didn't like the original movie. What a hot take. First time? Again, you can disagree with her all you want. But come on. Don't you think this was just a tad ridiculous? Because I do. The movie's come and gone. You can get a life now. But with Sydney, it's a different story. This is a rare instance where it actually does hurt the movie more to have an actress who's not the correct race. It's not Cindy's fault or anything, it's just not good casting in this case. I mean, Ali'i Cravalho was right there and she would have made a great Nani. Oh, but Sydney was born in Hawaii, Razor. That should be good enough for you. Okay, well by that logic, I guess Barack Obama could have played as Nani. Which, honestly, would have been hilarious to hear. Like I've been saying, the original Lilo and Stitch found a way to get people to talk about Hawaii's past in being illegally annexed and then turned into a tourist trap by the United States, in a way that wasn't too in your face, but just present enough for you to notice. The remake, on the other hand, does everything in its power to make you forget that. It's not about representing Hawaii's culture or history, it's about marketing it and making you want to buy some Lilo and Stitch merch, and maybe take a trip to their expensive as fuck resort. But, like with any of these remakes, they do have one upside. They make you appreciate the original even more. For when I watch the original movie and watch the story of this little girl who's an outcast in her world meet up with an alien who's also an outcast, I feel like it's a story that people from all walks of life can relate to. Combining that with a deep appreciation of Hawaiian culture just made people fall in love with it and want to learn about it all the more. And I feel like, despite the remake's best efforts, despite all the money it made, people are, of course, gonna look more fondly back on the original. And hopefully, this video showed you a new perspective on it as well. And if it didn't, well shit. I don't know what to tell you at this point. Like I picked up a history book. I showed you the notes. I don't know. Just maybe you should go to college in San Diego. I don't fucking know.
Maybe I'm weak, but it took half a year to get over you. Or maybe I'm good at pretending that I moved on. I don't. That we got a lot of the same friends, and soon enough there come a weekend when we drive let's not bring it up.